Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today I have a full review for you of this guy right here, the CJRB Prado, a budget knife that I have absolutely fallen in love with. And after another 4 or 5 days of carrying the pocket, I don't have many bad things to say about it. Lots of good things, all the specs to go over. But first, before we talk about these guys right here, there's something else in this pouch we're going to take a look at, because there is a new version or some new versions of another CJRB knife that is now, to my understanding, available, and it's dropped rather recently. So we're going to take a look at it and see what we got here. And it's very colorful. Let's take a look at this. What we have here is none other than the CJRB Hect A. Now, as you guys saw, I did do a review of the Hect A a while back, so I'm not going to put too much time into this. I just wanted to quickly pull it out here and kind of show you guys what you have to choose from. This is one of 4 new variants of the Hect A, and overall, it's a pretty solid knife. Kind of like a bug out, or even, very similar to a pyrite. Very much like a pyrite, different blade shape. Obviously, you got a crossbar lock instead of a button lock. But yeah, very much in line with the pyrite there in terms of overall size. And it's just another design, another blade shape that might get you excited. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think of the Hect A. Lately, CJRB, with this Prado, they've really kind of stolen the show with the Prado here. Kind of takes the Hect A and puts it aside for me, because while I do like the Hect A, I don't have anything about it that I really dislike. I think for some people, you may not love the fact that the blade cutout's a little hidden there, but I will say, I still don't really have any big issue to just kick that blade out. So kind of nitpicking there, but it is another solid budget knife with AR RPM 9 steel, $57.49 for these new variants. So, and they're really colorful. This one has kind of like a maroonish color, maroon and blue and orange, kind of like Nerf style almost. So very interesting colorway there. Got the maroon clip. But yeah, there's 3 other versions that are also very colorful and very different than this. So if that may interest you, of course, there's a link down below. Check out the new versions of the Hect A. But this video here focuses on this guy. These guys, this thing here is an absolute banger, and I said it before in the unboxing of it. I love them just as much now, but we're gonna take a look at the overall specs and get a full review of this guy here, the CJRB Prado. And with that said, let's get right into it and take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 8.49 inches, a blade length of 3.76 inches, and a blade thickness right at 90 thousandths thick blade stock, so slightly thinner than your average blade stock. We have AR RPM 9 steel for the blade as well, which you're pretty much, I feel like you're going to see that on pretty much all the CJRBs moving forward. We have a clip point style blade with a flat grind, handle length coming in at 4.74 inches, and the handle thickness. This is what really makes, I think, the Prado rather different, is the handle thickness, 436 thousandths. We'll talk more about that when we get to the handle portion of the review. We have some G10. Now you can get black or this kind of like teal G10, because there is a little more green to it. The camera kind of throws it off. But then you have 2 wood options. You have ebony, which is not what's pictured here. This is rosewood. So you have rosewood or ebony to choose from. And I gotta say, I love this pairing of this blade shape with wood. It works extremely well together. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, you have the good old crossbar lock on this guy. CJRB does a really, really good job on their crossbar lock, not just on this one, but on the Hect A as well, because it's like a perfect tension for the crossbar lock spring for me. Some companies use really weak springs that I think make for too soft of a detent type feel when you're kicking the blade out. But I really, really like the spring CJRB you're using. Gives some good resistance, makes it very easy to kick that blade out, and still get some nice force generated with those springs. So really well done job there. We have a user of a right or left hand tip-up carry, a weight at 3.42 ounces, which is not bad at all for an 8.5-inch knife. Designed by one of my favorites. One of the best, in my opinion. Ray Laconico right there. Another fantastic Ray Laconico design. And a price. The price here is kind of mind-blowing for me. $57 for either one of these. Whether you want the ebony or the rosewood or the G10, $57 for either one. Puts one of these in your pocket. So, yeah, I have absolutely no issues there. Let's set one off to the side, do some size comparisons here, and see how this measures up with some other bigger knives. Let's bring out this one right here. This is the Kershaw Iridium. Still smaller, but what do we have here? I think I have a Conspirator here somewhere, don't I? I thought I had a Conspirator. Well, here's this guy right here. This is the Kaiser Brat, another really nice button lock, but a bigger knife. It measures up really well from just an overall length standpoint. And what else do I... Oh, here it is. Here's that Conspirator. It tried getting away. The Conspirator in wooden scales, a really good comparison. But as you can see, the Prado still kind of towers over the Conspirator in terms of overall length. Considerably longer than the Conspirator. Guys, this is just a big knife. It really is. It's a big knife, but it carries extremely well for just how big of a knife it is. And it has a nice slicey blade too. Let's talk about that blade. It's got so much of that Ray Laconico design language in it. That really, really nice swedge. Kind of how the spine here leads up just slightly before it dips down into the clip point. And man, oh man, that swedge gives it all the sass. Really, really nice edge here. We're looking at 19 thousandths behind the edge. So a nice flat grind, thin edge, slicey blade in general. Really nice blade cutout that not only looks good, it's just very satisfying from an overall design standpoint. It's not hidden. It's very accessible as to where you don't quite have that with the Hect A. There's a little more of that blade cutout gone there. So it's nice to have that entire blade cutout accessible and very easy to just kick that blade out. And man, oh man, such a beautiful blade paired with a fantastic handle. Now, what I was alluding to earlier, the thickness of this handle at 436 thousandths, that's usually not the case with a knife this big. Usually a knife this big, you're going to be looking more at 500 thousandths or thicker, 500 to 550 thousandths, because bigger knives just usually tend to have slightly thicker handles because, you know, one would think that more likely are going to be purchased by people with bigger hands because they naturally like bigger knives more. That's not always the truth. That's not always the case, but sometimes that, you know, that's just kind of logic there playing itself out. But the 436 thousandths here, along with the handle that is still nice and long and really like, it's like the perfect shape. And this is very much that Ray Laconico effect because Ray is so good at designing a knife with a really good ergos, but also a rather, maybe not plain, but just a very clean handle. Very clean handle, not too much going on here, but it feels so good. That slight swell towards the back here, the little curved area up here for your index finger, and they did some really good beveling there for where your index wraps around. It just fits perfect in the hand, but with that thinner handle, it also carries extremely well in the pocket. And when you put this guy in your pocket, it really does. It kind of disappears. I mean, 3.4 ounces is not going to weigh down any pants. You're not going to notice that. The thinness of the handle is very nice, and it just carries great. It's one of the better, bigger knives that I have carried in quite a while, especially in that budget realm of $57. They did a really good job of keeping this knife looking great, acting great, and carrying great while also being very affordable. I mean, this is really one of the perfect combinations for me. Just a fantastic design. We'll pull the G10 model out here for a little while. And the action's very smooth. And usually Usually when I have two models, there's one that I can be like, it's slightly, maybe a little better. Like you notice some type of difference. With two different handle materials, I'm shocked and also very happy to say that extremely consistent action between the two. Very enjoyable middle finger deployment, as well as the thumb deployment. If you're used to that, it's actually very doable, but you kind of have to do that side flick. But it's pretty easy to do. I struggle with it. And like I've said before, guys, in all honesty, with a nice cutout like this, I'm gonna middle finger flick this 100% of the time. I would never even consider doing the thumb flick like that, but it is very doable. So if you like doing that, yeah, very doable. And another thing that's also very nice is the slow roll on this. Not many times, unless it's a Spyderco, do I get too excited about a slow roll, but that is very easy to do. Very easy to just roll that out if you don't quite have the dexterity in your hands to just flip it out with your middle finger or do that quick thumb flick. You can always just do that casual, nice, smooth thumb roll. So very nice to operate, extremely great to carry in the pocket, and just overall, like I said before, guys, I'm not coming at you with any surprises today. This is easily, in my opinion, one of the best knives under $60 for the entire year. There's no way this is not going to be in the top three. I don't see that being possible. I'd be really surprised if something better than this knife is going to be available for under $60. I mean it. I mean, granted, now you guys know I like bigger knives. I like Ray Laconico. So put those together, take that for what it's worth. Maybe even take it with a grain of salt. But I think this is one fantastic budget knife and easily going to end up being one of the best of the year for me. But we'll see. We'll see. We are still just in March, so a lot of things can happen. But boy, oh boy, CJRB is off to a great start with the Prado. Phenomenal knife. Excellent job. Let me know what you guys think of this. It is available. Link below, check it out, let me know what you think. But another home run design from Ray Laconico and another fantastic budget knife from CJRB. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.